Bonsoir et bienvenue à Teal Town After Dark. Après une victoire de 4-2 de Requins de San Jose sur les Canadiens de Montreal. That's all you're going to get from my French. Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday night, October 24th, 2019. The Sharks are victorious 4-2 over the Montreal Canadiens. So welcome to Teal Town After Dark. We do this live and interactive after every game. So do us a favor, if you aren't already, chat with us and fellow Sharks fans in our YouTube Super Chat on the page or app. But of course, we always like to have you follow us on the social at Teal Town USA, whether it's on the Twitter, Insta, YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, you name it, you love it. And for more, hit us up on tealtownusa.com. That's right. You have three of us. So let's say hello to the guy who's directly to my left. It is Al Martinet.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Good to see Ian. Good to see Puck Guy. Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. And, of course, to my furthest from me on the left, the angry Canadian robot who's smiling, that is Ian Reid.
Yeah, be afraid. Be very afraid.
And that's exactly what the Montreal Canadiens have been saying the last 8 times they've taken on the San Jose Sharks. Montreal comes in, what was it? The Sharks are 14-4-0 against Montreal since 2005. Brent Burns does his 600th Sharks game tonight, and let's get into it. Sharks... Ian, I don't know what it is about Montreal. And like Jamie Baker said on the broadcast, what Buffalo is to the Sharks are to the Canadiens.
Carey Price was abhorrent tonight. I mean, that's really the big start of it, really. A lot of it's not very... I don't think, like, if you look at a lot of the underlying stats for tonight, not very flattering for the Sharks at all. Yeah. But Carey Price was absolutely terrible. So, yes.
and things look like they're going to be starting really crazy. At 6:59, Barclay Goodrow skates in from a nice feed from Jumbo Joe Thornton, scores to make it 1-0. Oh, wait a second here. Montreal will challenge for offsides. What did you think of the call, Al? And it ended up being no goal, but what did you think of the call?
I mean, it's the absolutely right call. I mean, Goodrow had at least 3 extra steps, and it really did appear like that in the replay, and it really didn't take that long. And I think it is kind of the fault of the replay system that if it's a bad challenge, the team that the NHL should make it more of an incentive for there to be more correct calls on the ice, right, than to be like, 2 minutes in the penalty plus you're in. It doesn't make much sense in my book.
Yeah, it was the right call, absolutely. Attaboy and his team, our friend tweeted out a good still shot of the offside play, and it was just like, if that isn't offside to you, I can't help you.
Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty obvious, and nothing like Landeskog in Game 7 against the Sharks, for sure. But no goal on that play. I agree with the gang. It was a good call. But it was still nothing after that. Then at 12:31, Melker Karlsson goes off for slashing. I don't know why a milkman would want to, deliver slashing milk, but he did. Montreal did nothing there. But then at 16:36, Cousins, his first as a Montreal Canadian from Thompson, makes it 1-0 Montreal. We didn't like that. I'm sure Montreal did. But Ian, what did you take from the opening goal from Cousins?
It was fine. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot Aaron Dell can do. I thought Ferraro, other than getting stutter step there, he made the right play. But I think when Cousins kind of gave him that little stutter step where you could see kind of just like he was kind of just, it felt to me like he kind of just watched the play from there on. But You know what? I mean, little bit of a rookie mistake there. Cousins makes them pay, and that the puck gets back to Cousins from like just a silly angle, and Cousins puts it in. So it wasn't good, but it wasn't. It's hard to really point and say this is why things are terrible.
Al, what did you think of the goal?
I thought Dell could have probably hold on to the puck a little bit more rather than giving out another rebound. But the Sharks really did try to put on a little bit of a transition game. But when you match speed, something that Montreal is very, very built on, it just kind of backfired on the Sharks right there. So I'm not really sure what Dell could have done better. So maybe just hold on to the rebound and go from there.
Yeah, he gave up a juicy rebound, a nice save beforehand, but unfortunately, Cousins buries it to make it 1-0 Montreal. At 18:10, Shea Weber gets called for hooking. Shame on him. And he felt bad, especially at 19:05 when Evander Kane, all he does is score power play goals, it seems like. He gets his 5th from Couture and Hurdle. Originally, they gave this to Couture, but it looked like Kane got a little piece of it, Al, to tie this game up at 1-1 late in the first.
Yeah, it hit off of Kane's skate, but this was a really good just overall team effort. Last couple of minutes to end the period, especially drawing the penalty. But this also was the first game after Couture's post-game comments about there being enough accountability from that overtime period with the long shift. So you kind of were hoping to see what the line chemistry would kind of be like from Montreal in tonight's game against Montreal. Again, Couture's only stuck on that one goal, but I thought his play tonight was pretty good, and especially Kane. Kane had 2 goals tonight. Should have probably gotten a third one, but really good game from those two.
Ian, what did you think of the opening power play for Team Teal?
Power play was one of the was a good thing tonight. Like I think the power play was solid. I thought the penalty kill was solid. Like special teams isn't really my concern with this team right now. 5v5 is my concern with this team.
Big time.
But you know what? I thought power play looked solid. And again, Carey Price being a Civ definitely helped us.
Well,
do we know that Carey Price is just back to his injured self, or is he still not the same stride that he once was?
Yeah, I wonder. I'm glad you asked that, because I'd like to do it kind of a deeper dive on Carey Price, and because some goalies do really they need shots, right? And if they sit around for too long, there's some goalies that just can't deal with not getting shots. And let's be honest, 5v5, there's not a lot of shots on goal for the Sharks. So I kind of wonder if he just, if he gets out of focus when he's not facing 40 shots a night.
I mean, the Sharks only had 22, but it frankly looked like 14.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, 22 made it to the net, but how many of those were quality scoring chances? Not enough.
Only 5 of them.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up, but it's like,
what's the
I think per natural stat trick, they had the Sharks had 13 scoring chances, 5 high danger per natural stat trick.
And in the first, the Sharks were outshot 13-8 by Montreal. They had that one power play goal tally. Here's a great one too, guys. 71% in the faceoff circle to begin the opening period, which is something quite opposite of what they've been doing. So that was pretty good. So second period, PDB doing his line blender thing, putting Kevin LeBanc with Hurdle and Kane just to see what happens. At 420. Originally, they were saying Kulak took a tripping call. Then, after a minute or so, he comes out and Jeff Petrie goes in for tripping up what LeBanc, Marlowe? I'm still confused by this one.
Yeah.
To set up a Sharks power play and 4:54. Evander Kane does it again, his second of the game, from Hurdle and Burns, to give the Sharks a 2-1 lead on this one. Al, Kane again, and this power play is slowly starting to click a little bit more.
I mean, the power play was the sole offense tonight. Some of it was because the reffing was just a little bit questionable at times, to say the least. But it's good to see the power play clicking. It is kind of worrisome about the penalty kill, especially with Vlasic or Carlson, Brent Burns. You would think that would be the strong point, along with the power play. But Evander Kane, I'm glad that he's starting to click. Yeah.
In kind of going back on piggyback on what Al just said on the questionable calls, Ian, last game Mario Ferraro takes a tripping call with a check along the boards. Earlier in the game, Sorensen gets stripped up fairly similarly and was let go.
There was some I thought some of the calls in this game were really ticky-tacky both ways, to be completely honest.
Absolutely.
It just there seemed to be a lot of bad calls and then a lot of makeup calls to make up for said bad calls that were also bad. I don't know what to tell you.
Right. LeBanc, we're getting some comments from the locker room now. LeBanc, the goal called back didn't stop us. We kept our foot down. Good.
Sure.
Good. I mean, that's what you need to do no matter what happens to you, is to keep that foot on the gas. Sleepy Mofo, as we continue on here. Who would have thought that the most expensive backup would be Jones? Just kidding. Let's talk about Aaron Dell tonight. He had a terrific game with over 35 saves on the night, if I'm not mistaken, according to the stat sheet.
Yeah, Aaron Dell was solid tonight. You can't. I don't really fault Aaron Dell on either of the goals. I thought Aaron Dell made sure that this was a hockey game. If not for Aaron Dell tonight, because I know everyone's like, oh, this is a great win, and it really wasn't. It really wasn't. But Aaron Dell definitely did his job tonight for sure.
I'll go with this comment to you. I wouldn't mind Jones and Dell platooning for now. That's per Rob Iman. Would you like to see more of a platoon with the Sharks? And considering, Jones is your guy.
I think Jones has the bigger upside, but I think the moment where Dell starts to get better, starts to face bigger competition, better competition, is the point where you start to say there's a goaltender controversy. I would always side with Jones, just because the moment you take that place away from him, you really strip away his his confidence, and you might not get that back, and that's the big worry. I get the worry about Jones letting in goals in the first 5 minutes. That's really infuriating, but you got to trust him. You got to write it for right now. But let's be honest. Dell's probably going to start against Ottawa, a team that's probably not going to go anywhere this year, and he's probably going to start against the Ducks. So he's really going to be the goaltender you face against bottom tier competition.
All right. And he continued to make some saves. In the meantime, the other end, one of the guys that got called out last game from Logan Couture, Kevin LeBanc, buries one in. Hurdle gets the lone assist unless they had changed it, but I thought a great play down low, up by the boards by they gave it to Kane as well. Hurdle and Kane. But I also thought, Ian, that Carlson helped keep that play going in the offensive zone.
Oh, Carlson just made some stupid, ridiculous passes tonight. Just in general, even that offside goal. That was a great first pass out of the zone, which is exactly what you want to see from Erik Karlsson. That's his bread and butter, that first pass out of the zone. And tonight he was making them like crazy. It was a good setup. I remember this was the one that went off Kane's skate, right?
No, this was the one.
That was the first one.
Oh, it was the first one, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the passing, the passes out of the zone by Karlsson tonight were great. They're on point. I mean, it was one of there's a lot of, you'd think with the win by that goal margin, you would have a lot more like genuine pluses, but Karlsson's plays out of the zone were definitely one of them.
Yeah, it was a nice play. LeBanc all alone buries it in. So nice play there. Makes it 3-1. The Sharks starting to pull away a little bit. Then at 13:26, Burns takes a holding call. One that, Jamie Baker called ticky-tacky, and I think that, of course, boys, was to make up for it. But again, we'll go back to Aaron Dell, Al. Dell with some great saves. I think I counted almost like 5 on that power play alone to keep it a 2-goal game.
Yep, kept it a 2-goal game. Very good penalty kill. I think they were 0 for 3 by the end of the game. But at that point, you want to keep it a 2-goal game. He was pretty solid minus those 2 goals, just like Ian said. I don't mean to say the same thing, but I thought the Sharks defense pretty sound, and I really didn't think Montreal's overall shots were that good. I think there were just a lot of shots from the outside, which is what you want to do for a defense. But the shots they were getting were kind of just really up close, but nothing really dangerous.
Yeah, the heat map for this. The problem with the Sharks, it's look at a lot of these plays, is it's not just 1 or 2 opportunities. It's the 3rd and 4th and 5th opportunities, and they've got to do something about this, because this is going to kill them in the long run.
Hi, Niami.
Yeah.
Oh, he misses Nemo. Although they have Kaka Nemo, I guess. I don't know. We'll go there. All right. Late in the period, 19:24 in, Marleau and Thornton feed Melker Karlsson, who makes a delivery into the milk cage of Carey Price at 19:24 to make it 4-1 Sharks. A good tidbit about this coming, I believe it was from Shark Stats, Uncle Darren Stevens here. Marleau and Thornton assist on the Melker's goal. The last time 2 40-year-olds assisted on a goal in the NHL was March 29th, 2013. Jaromir Jagr and the great Ray Witt assisted on Jamie Benn's goal for Dallas.
There you have it.
They're speechless.
Guys rule.
One's a Hall of Famer, the one might not be a Hall of Famer.
Whoa.
I think you could make a case for Whitney.
Oh, I thought you were talking Marleau.
I was talking about Marleau.
Oh, ouch. Yikes. Ouch.
Yikes. Sleepy
Wow.
Mofo in the chat. Dell had 9 saves in a minute 9. That's crazy.
And it's too many. It's like, kudos for Dell for the way he played tonight, but like this can't, these plays like this can't continue. You cannot continue to give up 4 or 5 shots on a play like that. Like, so the defense has got to be better. The goaltenders could probably, squeeze a glove now and then too, and that would definitely help. But the defense has got to get rid of these pucks or do something, because this shooting gallery from up close is that, like, again, it's a problem. And if the Sharks don't get it under control, it's going to end up costing them more often than they're going to skate away like they did tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So I was going back into the chat a little bit. Some people are saying MVP for Tim Heed.
MVP of the game, absolutely. First, second, and third star.
Right.
Reach played.
Played 321, and it's the first of the back-to-back. My concern is
3.5 stars. My bad.
Yeah. My concern is making the other blue liners fatigued.
Well, it's stupid. Like let's call this out. I mean, this is stupid. I don't care how you feel about Tim Heed, whether it's 3 minutes and 21 minutes too many, or you think he should be playing more. The fact is, it's blatantly obvious now that Peter DeBoer is not going to play this guy. So Doug Wilson needs to either waive him, do something so that the Sharks stop, because this is stupid. Like you're putting way too many. You're 10 games into the season and you've got, you're playing your top four. Just like, what was the minutes? Tell me the minutes for the top four tonight.
I will get that up right now.
Sure. Continue.
Yeah, Brent Burns 2704, Erik Karlsson 2635, Marc-Edouard Vlasic 2218, Brendan Dillon 2325, Mario Ferraro 1502.
Yeah, okay, this is stupid. Like, you're 10 games into the season. Not only 10 games into the season, you're up. You're winning the game. Why are you burning people out when you're winning the game? This is stupid. Like, you can see how these guys are starting to play later on into the game. You see Burns basically dry humping everything that he can get close to because he's gassed. Like, I don't care how you feel about Tim Heed. This is stupid. And if the Sharks don't figure this out and do something about it, like, I don't care who you play in that position. Like, fine. You want to bring in Dalton Prout and actually play him? Fantastic. But this stupid playing, like Tim Heed's obviously, Pierre DeBoer is done with them. So get rid of him. Stop this stupid charade. Like, I don't understand this team. Like, it's just little things like this are going to catch you later on. It's an 82 game season. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And if you're going to play 5 defensemen every night and just stupidly handicap yourself, like, it's ridiculous. I can't even, like,
we said the exact same thing round 1 against Vegas, and it
Yep.
appeared in round 3 against St. Louis when Erik Karlsson was dead tired, making stupid plays against the Blues. And it's only going to backfire us in probably March or April, because we have zero rest. Well, not zero rest, but less rest compared to most teams like Canadian, like Montreal, for example, who were probably 1 or 2 games away, or I think they were 1 point actually, for tiebreaker's sake, out of the playoffs.
Yeah, like, it's dumb. Like, look at the Sharks tonight. They were not good 5-on-5 tonight. And I know that you can look at the game and say, "Oh, we won, Ian, shut up." No, they weren't good 5-on-5 tonight. This is not a recipe for continued success. Every goalie you face isn't going to give up 4 goals on 14 shots. Like, you can't continue to win like this. You might eke out a win here and there like this, but this isn't a recipe for success. You're a team that's trying to get out of the basement of the Pacific. Why don't you, like, take every advantage you can get, and continuing to dress a guy and play a guy that Peter DeBoer has no interest in playing? Like, it's stupid. Like, and I'm sorry, there's no better way to describe it.
There isn't, and I'm not going to follow it up. I'm just going to follow up with the comments. AJ going full Rado. Satan saying just win the game. Nick Neftepitz, good to see you, bud. Is PDB forced to play Heed since they travel with Shimmick and Prout even though they're still injured for the road trip? I mean, it could be, but if they're close, I mean, at this point, do you play them if they're this close? I mean, you have you're 40% through this road trip. You have tomorrow in Toronto, Sunday in Ottawa, and Tuesday in Boston. I mean, at this point, I mean, you're, and like you mentioned in the chat, you're not going to call up anybody all the way from San Jose to Eastern Canada.
Well, I mean, you play again tomorrow, so I mean, you're playing a back-to-back situation, and that's the other thing too. Not only is this gonna be bad tonight, but these guys are playing a back-to-back. You're gonna play 5 defensemen all night on the first game of a back-to-back, and then they're gonna look like ass in Toronto tomorrow. Probably get skated around, and well, gee, I wonder why. Maybe because you played 5 defensemen when you have 6 on the bench. Like, it's really, really dumb.
Okay,
it makes me angry.
He is not nicknamed the Angry Canadian Robot, folks. All right. Al has lost his video feed, but he's still here, right, Al?
Yep.
Okay, so So Al is sponsored by Skype. We'll just get that out of the way. Sleepy.
Thank you, Skype.
Has anyone in the media asked PDB directly about playing 5 defenders the rest of the way? I don't think so.
And he, when asked, like, he just says, well, he didn't have a good camp and he hasn't done anything to earn any leash. Well, okay, that's fine. But if you're Doug Wilson at this point, like, Peter DeBoer is going to Peter DeBoer. Whatever. I know what I'm going to get with Peter DeBoer, so I can tell you how stupid it is, but whatever. But Doug Wilson, the general manager of this team, needs to do something, because obviously, like, he can't be, obviously Doug Wilson isn't going to go and tell Peter DeBoer how to coach, and that's fine. Whatever. I get that. I understand there's important tending to be done, but
wow.
But to let this continue, like, you have to do something. If you're Doug Wilson, you have to do something. Waive him. I don't even care at this point. Like, I don't care what you do with Tim Heed. Like, Tim Heed, you came back. Good on you, considering how you were handled last year. I don't know why you came back, but, like, just, if you're Doug Wilson, you have to do something at this point, because now it's a detriment to your team. And again, this is a team that 5 versus 5, which is where you play most of the game, was really not that good tonight. So to keep coming back with the same thing, I don't know. It's just, someone has to do something, because this is stupid.
It's stupid, and they should feel stupid as...
They should feel stupid. They should feel shame and stupidity. And I don't know. It's really ridiculous. Like, I shouldn't be this angry after a win, but here we are.
He's saying the part of AJ tonight will be played by Ian Reid. It's one of those things that you have to wonder what the heck is going on. I mean, and you're spot on with it, Ian. I mean, if you're playing a guy 3 minutes 21 seconds and is not named Michael Haley, you have to wonder what's the thing.
On
what's
the first
deal?
Right, and it's not even like, and if it was a forward, I'd be annoyed but less annoyed, but this is the first game of a back-to-back. Like, that's the part that baffles my mind. And given the history with the way Tim Heed's been utilized, if he dresses tomorrow, which he probably does, because let's be honest, the Sharks aren't going to they're probably not going to red-eye somebody out to, someone out to Toronto tomorrow.
Toronto, yeah.
So, like, it's the first game of back-to-back. Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand that these guys are peak athletes and peak physical condition, but you know what? No other team's doing this to themselves. Like, this is self-inflicted, and that's the most frustrating part of the situation, is it's a self-inflicted wound that they're just inflicting on themselves. And it's not like they're peeling through the league right now. Like, this team is still a team that's fighting to get out of the basement of the Pacific, and we're 10 games in at this point. Like, it's not like everything's gone swimmingly this season. So
right.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me from a tactic, just from a common sense. Forget tactics, forget X's and O's. It doesn't make any sense from a common sense perspective when you have to play back-to-back games, to play 5 defensemen and then probably do it again tomorrow. And then when, and then when the guys who have to bear the blunt of this, being Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns, do some stupid play and can't get back to defend, well, we're all going to rip them apart tomorrow, aren't we? But, here we are playing 30 minutes.
Let it out, Ian. Let it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Trevor Carrick's, even if Trevor Carrick's with the Sharks, but history of so what? Trevor Carrick's going to get 7 minutes? Ooh. I'm sorry.
Moving on to the third period, Drouin goes off for tripping. Looked like maybe Ferraro had tripped himself by the stick. Sharks don't do anything on the power play there. Late in the game, 1939, Brendan Dillon takes a cross-check, although it looked like Domi also took a puck to the mouth as he's getting cross-checked, so what a double whammy there. But
God.
But to kind of start a goalie controversy, Al, I'll ask you this: I know you said Ottawa, but do you maybe try to start him tomorrow?
No.
considering he
No.
had a good performance tonight.
No, you would just, like I said before, you need to build up Jones' confidence. And Toronto is by far one of the top 5 teams in the league. They have the talent. They're easy one of the Stanley Cup contenders. And it's going to be one of those staple games, depending on how well Jones plays. Now, considering how much time they put into this game, I didn't really see, Dylan getting 22 minutes tonight, Burns 26 minutes tonight. That's something you don't really see. I didn't see going in. There's a lot of issues, but my issues are more towards the forwards. They're not really pushing up the puck, getting more constant pressure. 5-on-5 play is still very, very much a big, big issue. Until that's fixed, LeBanc is still having a pretty rough season. And that's more my issue right now, not on Jones. I think what he's been able to work with, and I think what fans are mostly been more worried about is the first 2 games against Vegas, which have been total garbage.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
I mean, there's no way to say it, but they were total just mishaps.
Yeah, and they didn't look good there. They looked really good tonight overall. I'm kind of looking at the comments in the chat now. One reason, the nagging injury of some kind for Prout and Shimmick. So that's the thing. People suggesting maybe, Hannon's still around surfing. We can go get him. No thanks. No offense, Scott. Tracy Kelbaugh, good evening to you. Burns is almost a point a game per player. He's not losing his step, considering he's doing far better than he was doing last year at this time.
No, he's just getting run into the ground.
Right. So, and another one from Tracy. Problem I see is lack of scoring from rotating AHLers. I mean, Noah Gregor at 9:19 tonight, although he got demoted to the 4th line later in this game.
Well, the Kevin LeBanc yo-yo must be always. I mean, it's not really. It's the problem is like, yeah, okay, you want to see more from them, but really, the Sharks just aren't getting enough pressure in the offensive zone. Period. Yep. 5-on-5, the pressure is just not there. So yeah, you can get on the. You can definitely get on the bottom 6, but really the top 6, this game is kind of a misnomer, because you look at this game and you look at the score and you go, oh, they did great, but really, again, I think I go back to 13 scoring chances, 5 high danger chances. If Carey Price doesn't let in everything that gets shot at him, it's this game probably ends quite differently. The Canadiens outpossessed the Sharks in this game significantly.
Yes.
And that's so yeah, you want to see more from but really, if the Sharks, again, going back 5-on-5, if you can't get that pressure 5-on-5, it's gonna be you're gonna have a hard time, regardless of whether you're Evander Kane, whether you're whether you're Evander Kane, whether you're Timo Meier, Tomas Hertl, Couture, et cetera, right down the line. So, yeah, you do want to see more contributions from the bottom 6. But, I mean, look at Barclay Goodrow. Looks like one of your best guys. Barclay Goodrow shouldn't look like one of your best guys.
What I will say, though, is that the Sharks did kind of play to their strengths. They did control the faceoffs. One of the main things they did kind of lead in is they won 50-30. And that was kind of like the main way they were able to stop Montreal's speed. If they didn't do that, Montreal would have controlled most of the 3 zones in transition. And once you do that against the Sharks, it's basically game over.
Yep. And to reiterate what Chris just mentioned in the chat, it's one thing to max your top 4 in the playoffs or in the closing stretch when you're coming down to the playoff wire, but early in the season is the dumbest thing possible, and kind of just.
And you're winning.
Yeah.
Ah.
I mean, those, and like he added on, those extra minutes add up. Stats on the night: Sharks outshot 37-23. Good news tonight, though, they dominate in the faceoff circle, 61-39 on the special teams. Sharks dominated as well, 2 for 3 on the power play. Montreal 0 for 3 on their block shots. Sharks had 17. Montreal had 13. For that, going through the time on ice, everybody was in double digits on the forwards except for Noah Gregor. As for go ahead.
I said that's fine. I mean, Noah Gregor's still, he's pitching in and he's learning his way. So obviously it doesn't surprise me that he wouldn't be trusted with more than 10.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's in good shape. The lowest guy on the totem pole for faceoffs was Jumbo at 46%. So that's a good night all around, including Goodrow and Kane, perfect on the faceoff draws there. We already mentioned about the defense-wise, Aaron Dell, spectacular, as you can expect, against a high-powered Montreal team who came with reckless abandon in the last couple of minutes, trying to pull within one in the third period. So Sharks win 4-2 over Montreal. Carey Price now goes to 2-10-1 all-time against San Jose. Hertl gets 3 assists on the night. It's his first 3-assist game since last October against the Islanders. Kane had 5 power play goals last season. He has 5 in 7 games. A good night all around for Brent Burns' 600th game as a San Jose Shark. As I mentioned earlier, like AJ's mentioning in the chat, Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau became the first teammates 40 or older to score or to be on the score sheet for a goal since 2013 when they assisted on Melker's goal. So while 5-on-5 they did not look great, and Tim He got to know a piece of wood on the San Jose bench well often. Sharks pick up a victory, and they get to 9 points on the campaign. With that, gang, is it time?
No.
Okay,
it has to be.
Oh, it has to be? Okay, you guys need to make up your mind. Come on. Whatever.
If you don't do it, I'm going to just start ranting about
I'm going to...
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
It's wraparound time, folks. The Sharks are victorious tonight. There are other games going on in the NHL on this Thursday night, as it usually is. In Chicago, the Flyers are up 3-1 on the Blackhawks with about 13 minutes to go in the third period. Ducks are losing to the Dallas Stars, and one of those awkward moments, if you were on the Ducks Twitter, they put quote-unquote weird on it, and they show a video of Corey Perry looking at his old team warming up, which was quite interesting there. But Dallas has 2 goals from Gurionov to get things going. They just started the third period in Big D. In the Big C, the Flames and Panthers are tied up 2-2. Matthew Tkachuk with the third of his season. Uyghur with his third ties it up for the Panthers as they are about to go into intermission in Calgary. Up north in northern Alberta, the Oilers are down 2-1 to the Washington Capitals. Ovechkin with his 8. Hello, nurse! As his second of the season for the Oilers. Earlier tonight, the Desert Dogs... Oh, excuse us. Lose to the Fish Sticks 4-2 in that one. Derek Brassard with his first of the season. Anders Lee his third. Varlamov with the victory for the Islanders. Over in Manhattan, they don't have a curse of the Buffalo. They beat the Sabres 6-2. Carter Hutton taking the loss because I picked him up on the frickin' fantasy hockey team thinking he's going to be unstoppable, but no. Oh, no, he doesn't have to do that. Panarin with his 5th of the season and leads the team to victory for the Rangers, who are now 3-4-1. The Neon Buggers beat the Bunch of Jerks 4-3. That's right, the Blue Jackets over the Hurricanes 4-3 in that one in overtime. Cam.
Oh, for that game, if you can go and find the gif of that Sonny Milano goal. Mwah.
Really?
Yeah.
So Sonny Milano with another highlight goal. I guess that's all he does.
Apparently.
Cam Atkinson with the game winner, 3:28 in overtime with the victory for the Blue Jackets. For those about to rock, we salute you. They're playing Gloria tonight in St. Louis. They beat the LA Kings. Thank you very much. 5-2. That means the Sharks are now out of the cellar in the Pacific. Alex Pietrangelo with a power play goal. Braden Shen with 2 goals on the night for the Blues victory there. And finally, in the hockey tonk, 4-0 the final. Pekka Rinne with a shutout beats former Sharks goaltender Alex Stalock and the Minnesota Wild. Guys, who's more on the clock? Is it DeBoer, Mike Babcock, or Bruce Boudreau?
DeBoer's not even close to on the clock. Honestly, like, things would have to. Doug Wilson doesn't really fire coaches during the season. So I just feel like he's got just more rope than he could possibly know what to do with. Mike Babcock was an interesting one, for sure. But Bruce Boudreau, it's hard. Like Bruce Boudreau, I like Bruce Boudreau as a coach, but I mean, Minnesota is something they won't rebuild. So I don't know what you do there.
Yeah, and I don't know where you start if you're Bill Guerin with Minnesota for sure. And people are saying Babcock and Boudreau. Capitals have just scored to make it 3-1. Alexander Ovechkin again with the power play goal. So thank you, Caps, for that.
Rob Factor Fiction, Wild told the fire state at the end of the season. I don't think so, because when Bill Guerin was hired as the general manager, this is per Jeff Merrick, that basically the reason that he got the job, I can't remember who he got it over, I think it was Ron Hextall, because Ron Hextall went in and said, okay, this is what we got to do. We got to tear it down first. And the Wild, per Jeff Merrick, had no interest in that. And so that's why they hired Bill Guerin. So I don't think that's coming.
Yep. For sure. And so let's look forward to tomorrow night. The Sharks fly over to Ontario to take on, well, both teams, but they start on Friday night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yes, the return of Patrick Marleau to Toronto. And if you haven't seen it yet, folks, we have a sneak peek at this special ceremony that they are planning to have for Patrick Marleau on Thursday, or on Friday. Let me pull this up in case you haven't seen it yet on the social. Let's take a look at it. There you go. What an honor for Patrick Marleau to be honored with such icons like Tim Horton, Matt Sundin, and Borja Salming. So looking forward to that for sure tomorrow night.
Damn. Glorious.
Yeah, hey, when you're dad to San Ramon native Austin Matthews and the $10 million boy Mitch Marner, I mean, who knows? So, Al, what do you expect from a similar strong team in Toronto without John Tavares?
Yeah. Without John Tavares, I think he's out for another week or two with a wrist injury, I believe it is.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We'll just call it upper body.
Yeah, let's just call it everything. It's going to be interesting. I think the first period is going to really be important for the Sharks more than Toronto. If they don't get the first goal, it's going to be a really uphill battle. But it's going to be more of a witness test for Jones to see how he is against top-tier competition. Is this going to be another scenario where we see something like Vegas again? And if that's the case, with a healthy Erik Karlsson, a Kane that's been playing pretty good, and with the Patrick Marleau. That's what I'm more or less seeing. Yeah.
Ian?
I feel like, this is going to be another interesting game where, if the Sharks can't get their 5v5 play up, it feels to me like it could be a long night. But Toronto's not exactly blowing the doors off either. So I'm actually really intrigued about this game. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think that with the way both teams have not really been maybe firing on all cylinders, it could be an interesting game. Like, I'd be a lot more nervous if Toronto was, completely on lockdown, but that's not the case. So it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm excited to watch it. And then I got to go to sleep and then drive to Ottawa and then watch Ottawa and then go to sleep and then drive home. It's going to be good.
Again, I know we've kind of talked about this off air, but how psyched are you to go to Ottawa on Sunday?
Oh, I'm super excited. The 20 hours of car ride that is going to be sandwiched in between, it's like the bread that I'm not looking forward to so much, but oh my God, I can't wait to get to Ottawa. It's going to be fantastic.
Awesome. If you see Ian, by all means, say hello to him. If we are able to, we will try to have him check in from the Canadian Tire Center on Sunday. Is that hometown hockey up north? Is that the hometown hockey game? Do you know?
I have no idea, honestly. I think that's a good question. Honestly, I don't know. When is the outdoor game? Is that on Saturday night?
Yeah, it's on Saturday night. And
okay.
that Saturday night game, Flames and Jets with some sweet uniforms will be taking place in Regina.
Right. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I mean, outdoor games have completely. If I wasn't like. If I didn't see a commercial for it, I'd have completely forgot there was an outdoor game this weekend. Like, they're that low on my things I care about scale.
Adam Zemsick will be in Toronto tomorrow. By all means,
enjoy the game.
Enjoy the game. I think Zach will be there for sure, and Zach is almost on his way to San Jose as well. His 22nd arena, got to get them all. That's cool, man.
That's awesome.
That's a dream come true. Sleepy Mofo, how's the weather in Ottawa?
Cold.
Yeah, it's probably not much different than it is here right now, and it's chilly. I don't know Fahrenheit, so you gotta go Google. I think it was like 7 degrees today, and it was just like rain and then not raining all day. 7 degrees Celsius. So you can go and plug that Google and get a Fahrenheit version, and it'll probably be about the same.
The Bay Area is literally on fire right now.
Yeah,
so.
Literally, unfortunately. Geyserville, you be safe out there. Hopefully I don't need to go rescue my Uma in beautiful Calistoga. And for that matter, my power might be out Sunday. So, Ian, you might have to run the show tomorrow on Sunday.
On my phone, eh? All right.
Why not, right? So with that, we'll bring a... Oh, Ian... you have a question from here. Are you stalking out the Sharks hotel?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. We're gonna try and figure things out when I get there. I've got a few potential things lined up, so we'll see what happens.
Awesome, excellent, outstanding. All right.
Yeah. So 45 degrees, guys. There you go. A balmy 45 degrees.
Only 7 degrees Celsius. I will take that in a heartbeat right now. Oh my gosh. So
it's 80 right now.
Yeah, right. It seems like it's even hotter out here. With that, we'll bring to a close of this 3-man edition of Teal Town After Dark. Al, thank you as always for joining in. I know you were having some issues with your camera, so we just have to look at this big old S. I was trying to cover it up earlier, but to no dice. So I'll start with you and your final thoughts and where the people can find you.
Final thoughts. Kind of already covered it, but this was a great performance by Dell. But I do want to mention that during the third period, Patrick Marleau was on the Jumbotron. The Canadian broadcasting kind of showed that. They kind of mentioned that this might be his last game in Montreal. So maybe this could be somewhat of a retirement tour coming up for Marleau coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, thought that was kind of neat. So, yeah, not the best performance from the Sharks, but a win is a win, and
Win is a win.
especially these kind of the Sharks playing these days. That's all you can kind of ask for.
Excellent. And they can find you where?
Well, my Twitter handle that you'll see just below that S.
At Al Martinet on the Twitter machine. Ian, your final thoughts on where the people can find you?
At Ian Blogs Hockey. Final thoughts. Yeah, I look at it's like a goal. They don't ask how, they just ask how many. 2 points is 2 points. You got to be happy with the 2 points. I thought that Dell played a hell of a game. If Tim Heed wasn't already 1, 2, 3.5 stars, then it should be Aaron Dell. Other than that, though, look, it was a good game. But obviously, the Sharks can't continue like this. Like, this winning won't be sustainable if they can't figure out their 5v5 game. I think Buffalo really highlighted that. So, again, at Ian Blogs Hockey, we did a TTG on the weekend. So if you haven't heard that yet, go check it out. Other than that, though, I look forward to being back on after I get home from Ottawa. I'll try to check in from Ottawa too.
Yep. If not, have safe travels to and from, my friend, and enjoy it immensely. I know you've been looking forward to it. I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. In case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, or if you want the audio edition, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Basically, anywhere you can find a podcatcher, we have it for you. So that'll do it for us. We will be back with you tomorrow night following Sharks and Leafs. You might get a TLFR, if you know what I mean. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on the social. Check out some videos, including the most recent Pucknologist. So until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone.